Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Let's Play that we're doing to show off the Colonial Charter Mod. Welcome back to the town of Buckets. I have done a little work on here. I let it run for a little while and I put in some decorative things to kind of show off some of the stuff that we're doing. Just made sure to look nice and that I knew how to use it because some of the stuff is brand new. In fact, I updated to a new beta right before this video, so there are some even brander, newer things in here now. But here we are in St. Buckets, and we're looking pretty good right now. We've gotten through our initial stage of configuration and building to provide what I would call, first tier necessary stuff, right? We've got a forester with a couple of employees generating wood. We've got a decent amount of stone collected. There's plenty around here. That's probably because of that mod, but like I said, I don't like to destroy the entire map as I'm building. Iron we're good on. I did clear a big field of it, I believe, during the last video. Tools we're good. We have our blacksmith not working right now because we only have 18 people, and 1-to-1 aging mod means that there's a lot less tool usage. So we don't really need to maintain that guy when he can be used to do other things. And we had a tailor working that's hit their limit, so we're probably just going to pull them off of there too and use them elsewhere as well. We've got our market about, ooh, hey, it's our first trader. Excellent timing. This is our very first trader, and it's a great time to talk about trade a little bit. We do have 625 units of firewood already in stock, so we will be able to buy any seeds that this trader has if they have them. But don't get your hopes up. Yep. Okay, so Antoinette the Smuggler here, and I wanted to call this out. We wrote, names for all these traders, and they're named differently, and it looks like each trading post has its own version of the smuggler. For example, there'll be Antoinette the Smuggler at this trading post, and that guy will always come here. But if I build another trading post, there might be another smuggler with another name that would always come there. It's interesting how it works, but you really got to pay attention to the names because they tell you what the trader brings and what you can order from them. So for example, this guy's a smuggler, right? He's bringing liquor. And you can order all the different kinds of alcohol or alcohol-ish acting things from him. Now, we don't need any of this. Liquor is a happiness generator, and it's fun in the mid-game. But right now, we're too early on to really have happiness being affected by much, and we haven't had any deaths. We probably won't for a while. So we don't really need this liquor right now. We're just going to let him go. And no need to order anything from it. But yeah, pay attention to those names because they do tell you what the trader's going to have and carry. So we still have a couple of people without homes, and I wanted to remedy that situation by building some of our new homes. So I'm going to throw a log cabin on the outer edge of this radius towards the Forester Lodge, and I think that the likely inhabitants of this log cabin will work here. But they're not going to take up space in the radius, which is crowded enough with these 4 buildings in it. And they're going to be able to replenish their goods from the marketplace because they're within the market radius. So this is a really efficient spot for this type of home. And we're aiming to have a lot of, and we do have, and will have in the next release here, which should be coming out soon. A lot of different housing options in addition to the vanilla ones that are upgradable and that you unlock higher level upgrades for it as you advance your town's economy. So that should be really fun, and we're starting to really nail down those beautiful models. Our modelers have done a really good job on that. This is a new tree. This is a purple beech. Thought it would be nice just to have a purple option because that's a real tree and a real color, and once we unlock that ability, I was looking into ways to put Native American at least trees into the game, like I mentioned the Buckeye tree last time. That's over here. So here goes this log cabin. That should house those folks. I'm also going to put a tiny shack in. Now this is a 2x3 option, really small, not very much storage space, and I think only fits the 2 adults and 1 child. It is upgradable once, but you're not going to want to have a village that relies entirely on that. And we are going to place a nice country house as well, and I think we'll put it more in this like main drag area. Put like a nice fence around it or something. Actually, we'll put it right back here. It'll butt up against these guys. And that is a new fence type based on a real life mixed timber and stone fence. It's really accurate, and you can see we reskinned the privy to be closer to the other wood used in the game. It was a bit orange before, but looks really good now. I mean, it looked good before too, it just matches now. And, you know, we're kind of just taking care of our basic needs right now. I've done some of the decorative stuff. That log cabin is finished up here, but there are trees in the way. That's kind of cool. You can Abe Lincoln out, write a law book, I don't know, contemplate nature in your log cabin. You know, log cabins were freezing cold. They had to, like, continually jam mortar and straw in between the logs to keep the wind out. Okay, and we've got our country house going up here. Here's our tiny shack, which is, as I mentioned, upgradable once you have rope. So the idea is, you know, you might have to build some of these because they're super cheap to build. 10 wood, 2 stone, that's nothing, right? And if you have an extremely hard start, that might be all you build for a while. But, you know, you don't want to have to just destroy them once your economy's up and running. If you've got some rope, you can upgrade these into slightly nicer houses that fit 4 people. So it is worth it eventually. But that's interesting. Who's moved in there? Oh, here's our country house. This thing is upgradable several times without... I don't think we've balanced the resources yet on that one. I think it's going to require like rope and lamp oil and some other things, the higher tiers. I'm not sure we've gotten to that yet. But it's May year 6. We still have no crops or pasture animals. We did just start working on, maybe for this release, some custom starting conditions with our crops and animals finally. And you can see the shore wall here with the bridge is looking pretty good. Shock did a great job with that. I am really proud. And it acts like a road, too, I believe. So it does speed people up a little bit, and they will path onto it. And he'll correct me, I'm sure, and say, no, it doesn't do that. We're promising things we don't do. We did a fix on this bench. We have a new log set of items, and these menu placements have already changed, so don't complain. There's some options here for firewood, old crates that we had. I fixed a bunch of the flags that's not in this beta. We have the flower beds now. You can see I planted some right here. We're going to have a couple varieties of flowers as well to go with that. Let's get this market started. And I did place a mine. I found a really cool spot on this little hill, and that's the only way that the mine fit right there. But it would be nice to start getting a mine up and running eventually to stop having to mine iron. We are fine on it now, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I think at this point in the game, once your food is taken care of and you can cycle people in on the tools and clothes, what you need to worry about is the town services. So we do need a school. We do need a school. Now, 1-to-1 aging mod makes the school kind of an interesting pain in the butt. I got 6 children right now, and I'll put a teacher on this school, and the school will not have any students for years, and then it will take those students that do enter school billions and billions of years, it seems like, to make it all the way through and come out as laborers. So there will be a labor shortage until you get your school. Your school is like mature and it has several years of classes worth of students. And I'm just going to put a road here so that I have a guideline to build from. I kind of like it when buildings butt up against each other, because I feel like a lot of times they did that to save, firewood and things like that. But These buildings, especially in vanilla, look nice next to each other, and our houses look nice next to each other. Um, Now you see when we built the market, we did change the colors a little bit. Like it was orange and yellow, and we just didn't feel like that fit the time period. Um, Orange and yellow dyes were, I don't think, very common, and most people had blue and some purple and brown and a lot of white and gray, and that's really most of the colors that they had because dyes were kind of expensive or inconvenient to make, and the technology really wasn't there to do anything synthetic at that point in time. Our herbalist has hit the limit. That's fine. Doesn't matter. We don't have any coal because we didn't need it yet. We have a trading post. I might put another one in. That is an option. Especially with the pace of 1-to-1, you do kind of want to get seeds eventually, and putting another trading post in is a good way to maybe get those. But since we have some resources, let's build our town out a little bit and put in some of these colonial buildings, and it'll give me a chance to talk about them. So the Abbey. The Abbey was originally envisioned to also provide a bit of educational value to the citizens, so it was kind of a catch-all building that has a lot of uses. We weren't able to do that. It's a limitation of the game engine. So the compromise is that it makes several resources. It makes blueberries or ale or herbs. And with a caveat, okay? Herbs have to be consumed at the herbalist. I think I mentioned that in video 1 or 2. But the Abbey is a good way to like top up your production of them without needing a bunch of forest hubs, which doesn't really seem accurate historically to me. I think with these more resources mods, it's a bit more, the towns look a bit more realistic. We've got our schoolhouse up. I am going to put a teacher in there and waste a laborer on it forever. I believe in education. The youth are our future, and I think that's important. Our market's done, so we're going to switch focus from this storage barn to the market. We're going to give our market a vendor. And, you can still have the storage barn open. That's still informative at this point. But really now what you want to know is that things from all of your different storage sources are being put in a location that your citizens can reach them in. So at this point, I start to build multiple storage places and stockpiles, and I trust that the radii of my market, if I build within those guidelines, will continue to supply my citizens correctly. And then once I get my town hall up and running, which I plan to build very soon, I switch to the inventory chart that they have available there, because it's the best way to have the most information at your fingertips. Okay. Actually, we are going to watch this school in case the kid's a student. I do kind of want to know if we're educating anyone. The Abbey's going up. We don't have a lot of workforce. I don't want to put too much in now. We'll bump it up to 10x speed since we're doing okay, and we'll maybe do some decorative stuff around this Abbey or get the town hall going. Let's get the town hall. I do want to have that information. So you're never going to fill this whole radius of a market with housing. It's unrealistic, and I find there's a certain density at which the market fails anyway, and people start to starve, and you need overlapping markets. So I try to build big yards around houses so that doesn't happen to me. But I think we'll have a riverside plaza up here. We'll do something like this. All right, so the town hall. I'm just going to cover up the mine. That's a trick too, you want to keep your real estate on the screen. If you pause something, it can just exist as a little tab. Okay, we really don't need this guy right now. I'm not going to worry about staffing the Abbey. I just like it that it's built. And we have two variations, one with a wood kind of exterior and one with a stone exterior, and Shock did a great job on those too. This red tree you can see is a town maple. I wish we could tell it what colors to be during what seasons, but that's not within the capability of the mod kit, unfortunately. Oh, hi, some buckets. Looking pretty good. I hope they all get malaria like the real life Scottish colonists in Panama. Oh, that's a sad story, and I really shouldn't laugh. But it brings a good point in. This period of time, these colonies, this was an insane venture. You're talking about relocating a big group of people with a way of life and expectations and their own, cultures and everything to a place that it's far away, and maybe you can imagine the distance that it is because maybe you've flown from New York to London or something like that. But you can't get it because you did it on a plane, and they took months and months and months and months and months just to get anywhere and do anything. So these people were kind of just flung onto some far off shore by European kings and merchant companies, and a lot of them died. Most of them died, In the period that Banished is set in, or that we set this mod in, most colonies failed. It was really rare for them to succeed, especially outside of North America. There were efforts that happened in Africa, and they would just get slaughtered, and South America and things. There were problems with natives and disease, and I talked about that too much already. But yeah, it's a tough period of time, and we try to emulate at least some of that difficulty with some of the chains. Like, I realized that silkworms, this whole silk production chain was a little bit difficult in the last, or in the current release. But, it would have been really hard for them to get silk too, so call it realistic. Okay, my town hall is up. Let me give you a quick overview of the town hall and how I use it, okay? There are two ways that I mainly use this inventory screen. I always arrange by quantity. You want to know what you have the most of, what you can trade. If I look at this now, I say, wow, I have a lot of fish. That's actually probably too much of my diet, but I can trade some too. Items and storage tells you what items are in your storage, obviously. All your storage is across the map. Homes is also important. I like to know what my people are eating, and this shows what they're consuming in their homes. Trading posts I don't really use. These graphs are good. I like to set them at a couple years out and make sure that I'm good on food. I learned this from Paradox Gamer. He always sets it up like this so that when you get a good cycle going, you can tell predictively how this year's crop is going to affect your overall food. I don't really use this. I've seen people use it. It looks like a friggin' Excel sheet to me. I'm not interested. And I don't use this either because it's all up here or here. And trade items. None. We don't have any trade items. We don't need no stinking trade items. And that's where you get nomads. So, okay, we're going to leave that like that. We're going to get back going at 10x here. It's a little fast for my taste, but what are you going to do? If we do decide to get nomads, we're going to need a hospital. So maybe what we'll do is we'll spend some time clearing out this area so that I can plan it more effectively. But these houses are inhabited, so that's a great sign. Let me clear out some of this too down here. Go for it. We've got the spare time right now. We're really just waiting for a trader probably to get some kind of seed to set up some kind of production chain. And in the future, we hope to have starting conditions where you start with tobacco, for example, and you can build the tobacco production chain right off the bat and build your economy off that instead of firewood. Or we'll have one where you start with the silk stuff or whatever. Those are plans that we do have and are working on. So those will be cool. Oh, here's another trader. Fingers crossed. Oh, he looks good coming behind that wall. All right. Yeah, what's up, Jack? We're going to get some carrot seeds. So our people, after 30 years of carrots, will have orange skin and look really crazy, but they'll have great eyesight. This is good. Okay, we got carrots. This is awesome. Thanks, Jorda the planter. Well, the planter would have seeds, wouldn't they? So remember, it's my house rule not to order seeds. But we know Jorda comes to this trading post, and maybe she'll bring one of these other ones next time that she comes. Thanks, kiddo. Get out of here. Buy yourself a Coke. Well, that changes everything. We're going to need some crop fields. So let's decide on a crop area. And I forgot. you should keep the market window open behind the town hall. That way you can still plan with the radius and it doesn't waste your screen space. So we don't necessarily want crop fields within the radius, but it's okay if they're a little bit within it. I think I'll kind of put them in this area. So let's start out by, we'll just do like a diagonal road. If you don't know, if you hold shift, you can drag diagonal roads instead of the squarey clumpy ones. So sometimes I do that out to the edge of a radius because it looks kind of cool. And then I'll straighten out and do a road out this way. And this is probably a good time, and it's July, right? If I planted crops now, they would not harvest in time for anything, so I'm not worried about it until January. So that's how long I have to build these fields out. Here's our road. Probably a good time to talk about field size, like how you calculate what field size to do. I heard that the rule of thumb was you want the dimensions to add up to, if you multiply them, it should be around 120. And that east to west orientations rectangularly are better than north to south ones. So that's what I do generally, and we'll plan them out that way. I like to have fields that one dude can do. Oh, there's the mine. We're gonna go past the mine so we can have it a bit longer. Okay. Let's do 8 by 15. I think that's my favorite size. It yields pretty well. One guy can usually cover it all if you have storage near here or efficient road layout. 15. 8 by 15. 8 by 15. Pardon me, this takes all my concentration to get these correct. That's the one thing about Banished. You gotta have good eyes. I don't have good eyes. 8 by 15. This is the most boring section of any video I've made. It's fine. Once I get all these crop fields in, we'll appreciate it. And the reason I'm building so many, and we have no way to staff any of that, is just because it'll be a good way to harvest resources while we kind of grow as a town. So let's get that going a little bit. I wonder if I can figure out at some point how to fast forward through boring sections. I'm just learning this video editing type stuff. But maybe what we can do is get a lot of nomads, and that'll boost our efficiency really quickly, or our labor pool really quickly. We have enough resources for a hospital, so let's get one in. I think what I'm going to do with this square is do like stone fences all along here, and then like this, and just kind of have the stuff in here. So we'll put our hospital kind of at the other end of the square. And bring up some shore wall-y type stuff. Cool. We'll do that. How's that for now? To build those fields. Yeah, you can't even see where you plant stuff in the winter. They're doing it. I hear it. Okay, we're getting low on tools again-ish. I'm going to pull off a fisherman because we have a buttload of fish, and I don't know. I don't know how to cook fish. I've tried to cook fish a million times. I can't really make it right. If someone could just leave a comment and say how you cook, like just if I buy a thing of salmon, the frozen salmon, how I cook it. Because every time I cook fish in our oven, I ruin it. I can't fry it right. I don't know. I'm a pretty good cook, but I can't cook fish. But anyway, they're probably sick of fish. I would be sick of fish. Fish and deer. It's a really crappy diet. Fish and venison. I don't know if you guys have had venison. If you're not from the US or Europe, You might not have deer around. Actually, they have them in Australia too, don't they? Yeah, well, I guess most places have deer, but venison is not something a lot of people have eaten. It tastes pretty bad, depending on how you have it. I've had good venison, like jerky, and maybe good chili once, but I did not like venison steaks. They were very, very gamey. Um, but maybe, again, I didn't have them cooked correctly. Dang it, this always happens with these marketplace. I'm just going to make this a wider road anyway. Kind of like that idea. After all, the market is a place where a lot of people have to access very quickly, so it would help to have extra space around it. Boy, I wish we had more laborers. What can we... Let's throw these guys. What are we doing for 84? Well, we don't need a trader right now because... Oh, he's been pumping firewood into the... Okay, but we have enough now. Cool. Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how the trader works, or they forget. I just forgot. I mean, I'm human. Everybody's human, make mistakes, but you should try to remember that when you spend a ton of stuff on the trader, if you just unpause and keep going, your little dude is going to try to get more of that stuff. And if you don't have a lot of firewood or something, it's going to be rough going. So I forgot I did those big clearance tasks. That is probably why they're not building those crop fields this year. We'll give them a break on the clearance. We have plenty of resources. We're just trying to get those crop fields built. We will not get crop fields in this year, though. You have to plant by like February or March, at the very latest March. There they go. They'll be in for next year. We'll have some farmers. Food is going down a little bit since I pulled those laborers off. But blacksmith has made a buttload of tools, so we'll get them back on fishing. Woodcutter's doing alright. We have 2 foresters. The herbalist, we have good health. Let's put the herbalist on building right now. And this is really what you got to do. You got to micromanage in the beginning the labor pool until you get your economy up and running. But we do have a nice little town going here. Some buckets, our little shack. It's pretty cool. We got our shore wall, got the flag, got the abbey, and this is our future town square area here. School's in, no students yet. Teaching herself for last year. It's fine. Future crop field area, we'll have nice fences in between, and we'll have root cellars and grain silos depending on... we'll probably have root cellars first because they're carrots. Actually, yeah, let's do that. The root cellar stores vegetables and I think fruit? Yeah, fruit and veg. So you want to put the root cellar near fields that you're using to grow fruit and veg, right? Makes sense? Just trying to be creative and place this closer. The closer your storage is to your fields, the better harvest speed you get. But let's just chuck it there. And we'll let them build the hospital too. Oh, no, we won't. We don't have any farms yet. We need farms. Okay, so the reason it's taking a while is because they're walking a long way to a stockpile as well. There's going to be a mine here, so I'm going to put a stockpile out here. This is a perfect spot for one. Just move it out a bit. Yeah, like this. Perfect. And we're going to prioritize it because while they're constructing those farms, they need a place to store the stuff. There they go. Perfect. Now this will continue quicker, more quickly, more faster, because they're not going so far. And we're going to get roads going up here for their convenience. Okay, we're gonna need a couple farmers next year. Oh, these are default 3? Wow, no, they're gonna be 1-person farms. I know we changed that. I wonder if that was us. I did build a bridge over this way, and I'm excited to expand over here once we get our town up and running a little bit. But this farm area is going to be sweet. It'll be cool to have crops, and maybe that seed trader will continue to bring us more seeds to get our economy going. Because right now we've hovered around the same amount of food for the last 3-4 years, which isn't great. But what are you going to do? You're going to plant carrots. That's what you're going to do. We're going to Bugs Bunny it. I hope you guys all know Looney Tunes. Alright, once we hit January and get these new farms going, I'll probably call the episode. I might try to record a few more episodes of this. We are traveling soon, and it'll be difficult to be recording. So I'll try to get pretty far in this, and then we might have to pick this back up in January when the new release is out. Or I can start one without the 1-to-1 aging mod, and we can talk about things. But I think this is a good way to go slow enough to learn about the best ways to do things and the best practices for stuff. So hopefully this is entertaining you guys and it's not moving too slowly. And I could probably do 3 or 4 more of these before we leave. And that should be good. Cool. We need to get farmers on this. Farm. It's already February. That's why I hate 10x. But I'll do it for you guys. Hopefully they'll work these carrot farms. Okay, let's just talk a little bit about our next priorities. We do want to get a parish house or chapel in, and I want to talk about the alcohol system. One thing a lot of people don't know is that you have to have an inn and garden before you can consume or store any alcohol. In vanilla, you had to have a tavern before you could consume or store any alcohol, but it just happened to make alcohol too. We separated that out because it makes more sense to be separate. We have a trader. It's just the mercer. The mercer is a historical kind of term referring to people that have to do with tailoring and clothes and fabric. So these bring all of our different historical-ish clothes and the warm coat, which we could not take out. So you can't make warm coats in our mod, but you can buy them. I guess they're from the time-traveling colony up the river. But we have accurate-ish options, Tier 1 and Tier 2. And I'll explain that once we get to our clothier, which is an upgrade from the tailor. So we'll say good later and see ya to Bertus, the mercer here. Bye. And what was I saying? Oh, we were talking about the alcohol. You have to have it in a garden in our mod before you can consume any alcohol. You can path through it, and you can place it over roads, so it is cool. It's staffed by an ale wench whose main job is to just fill the place up with the booze and keep people nice and happy and drunk. I think we're going to put it right in the middle of our town square, actually. But I am going to pause it because we don't need it yet. We don't have any alcohol. Hey, we got a student! Cleonidas. Jiminy Christmas. That's a name. Well, education is good. And on that note, I think we're going to call this one. We do have our carrot crop in. It is growing. Oops, don't work that one. Work the ones that you've already planted this year. Hope you guys saw that. I assigned carrots to this, and it said it needed 3 workers all of a sudden. And it pulled my guys off these other fields that are active. That would have been ruinous for my crop. You want to make sure they can stay on this as much as possible. And it looks like they're living pretty far away or commuting pretty far because they're not getting much help. You can use this pathing tool to figure out where they live. That shouldn't be too bad. Roads most of the way. Okay. Yeah, so that's that episode, and we'll talk more about the alcohol system next time. We'll work on our town square. We'll hopefully get some nomads. I might add some more folks in between this video and the next one to speed things up with the debug thingy. That might be a good idea too. But we'll keep it moving for you guys, and if there's anything you want me to cover that I haven't yet, that I've gone over, that we've built, let me know, and I'll make sure to go back and do that. But until next time, thanks so much, and thanks for watching, and thanks for all the support, and check out our website, colonialcharter.com. Thanks so much, guys. Bye-bye.